So one of the most common discussions that comes up after writing the book with Will and just in my job as a coach is what percent of our sport is mental. And it ranges from 100% all the way down to 90% to 50%. To me, it doesn't matter. Even if it was 1% or 0.5%, we should address it, because think of all the time we spend trying to get 0.5% less air drag on our bike or through an aero helmet or our wheels or our wetsuits. So it's certainly something we should address. So what is mental training to begin with? And I guess a better question is, what are thoughts? Thoughts are basically using our senses inside of our mind. We can see things, our visual, we can hear things, our auditory, we can feel things, we can taste things, and we can also feel things emotionally when we're seeing something in our mind. The question becomes, how can we use those thoughts and how can we use our minds to improve in our sport? So one of the biggest things is we can eliminate problems that are holding us back. Maybe we're not sleeping well, maybe we have major pre-race jitters, or maybe we need to stop eating a certain way. Another really important way that we can use our minds is to stay motivated and to stay disciplined in our training and in our racing and our recovery. When it's howling wind outside or it's snowing or raining and we got to go get our set done, we can use our minds to get out the door. Yet another way that we can use our minds is to help us recover better. So we all know that we can do all the training we want, and if we don't recover well, then it's not going to be worth anything. So we can use our minds to help go to sleep better, to stay asleep. We can use our minds to recover from an injury faster. We can use our minds to recover from adversity during a race or just in training in general. Finally, one of the most important ways that we can use our minds in this sport is in races themselves. We can be perfectly fit, we could have trained perfectly, everything is just right, but if we lose it mentally in a race, we're going to blow it. So there are a lot of techniques that we can use with our mind to help us race to our full potential, to help us push when we need to help us to not give up when we get passed, to help us to get rid of the jitters before a race. So Will and I took our riding from the book and we broke it down into an actual training regimen. It's a 12-week program, 3 sets of 4, where each stage of 4 weeks gets more and more complex. We're calling the first level release, and it's basically how do you get rid of those things that are holding you back? How do you sleep better? How do you change eating habits? How do you learn to stay motivated for a really hard training session? The second level we're calling Elevate. So this is how can we enhance everything that we're doing already. So how can we make those workouts stronger? How can we recover better from those workouts? How can we learn to love the challenges that we face every day in our sport? Finally, the last stage we're calling Compete. And it's the highest level. It's how to use our minds during competition, in a race. How do we take care of pre-race jitters? How do we stay focused in a race? Or how do we regain focus in a race? How do we deal with other competitors and adversity during a race? Using the plan is very simple. It's 12 weeks long. There'll be exercises given each day for you to do, step by step, how to do each exercise and how to think, and forms to go along with it that you can fill out. Of course, to be good in our sport, you have to work very hard, physically. You have to train very well, but guess what? Your competition is training very well too, and they're training really hard. This is where you get an edge. Mental training is something that a lot of people don't do yet. So using these step-by-step exercises will definitely give you the edge.